I'm joined now by RG Manilak, Managing Director, Asia Pacific, Calypso, the big winners of the initial margining Product of the Year Award. RG, first of all, congratulations to you and your team at Calypso, and thanks for taking some time to respond to a few questions today.
Thanks for having us, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to be recognized in this way. And obviously, we're dealing in a bit of interesting times, but always a pleasure to answer some questions and see how I can help the community.
Terrific. Let's get right to it. RG, what does Calypso bring to the table as the winner of the initial Margining Product of the Year Award? And what's the innovation that makes you a pioneer this year?
Yeah, look, Steve, I think that whenever you talk about sort of regulations like these in terms of initial margin or any of the large regulations out there that are impacting the capital markets, I think it mainly comes down to, at the end of the day, a lot about the data that's going into the calculations and the reporting that goes into it as well. And so I think one thing that gives Calypso a bit of an advantage in this particular case is that we're really basing everything on sort of the foundation of what we do, which is a full front to back platform for the capital market space. And so because we are doing all the valuation for all the asset classes our banks and institutions are trading, we're able to produce a very accurate sort of initial margin calculation and risk calculation because we're providing all the data already. And so really the value we provide is sort of that single platform, single database that clients can be comfortable with in terms of the reporting they're doing from an initial margin perspective. So it really becomes just an extension of the solid platform we've always been based on for the last couple of decades. And then coupled with that, the investment we've made over the past couple of years in terms of transforming the product into more of a cloud oriented product really is the innovation we've tried to introduce that kind of takes it to the next level in terms of what our clients and market is expecting. I think that coupling those two things together was really allowed us to present a solution that is very reliable and future-proof in terms of what's to come in the marketplace. I think in Asia specifically, you've got a ton of banks still that are still to come in terms of the regulation over the next couple of years. Whereas I think in the rest of the globe, we've sort of had that experience of a lot of these banks and customers already having gone through this regulation, but a lot of customers out here in Asia really being in more the phase 5 or phase 6 bucket, if you will, that are exposed to this are really just to come. So I think we're going to really see the advantage come to play over the next couple of years, which will be interesting.
Yeah, terrific, interesting. How important is Calypso's solution for investors in Asia, particularly when you're looking at the emerging markets?
Yeah, look, it's always interesting. I think that Asia in general tends to follow the lead of the US and the West and Europe in terms of not only technological trends, but also from a regulation perspective as well. And so, nothing different here either. I think from an initial margin perspective, a lot of the banks and customers out here tend to be a little bit smaller in size. And so they're just now going to be start to be regulated under this rule, which requires their initial margin requirements to be more stringent. And so I think that it's going to be of utmost importance in the next 1 to 2 years as these regulations come into play. And so I think, ironically, the banks out here in Asia are going to benefit from actually the most advanced solution because we've been working on this now for a number of years to help our clients in the US and Europe, back a few years ago, start to tackle this problem. And now, as a result of that investment, the customers in Asia are actually going to benefit more from a more advanced product. And so we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to seeing, how we can help the customers out here that still are, really looking to see, how they can really apply some of this technology to their business to help them, get through this new regulation.
Yeah, okay. To what extent do you think innovation and capabilities are demonstrated, and how does it align with the market environment and demands?
Yeah, like I said, I think, while cloud technology certainly is nothing new, I think we are all talking about it in almost every industry these days. I still think that in the capital market space specifically, cloud technology is still not widely accepted, certainly in the banking world and in many ways in some of the asset management institutions. It's still sort of a debate as to whether they want to go cloud or they want to go in-house, things like that. And so that's still developing. And so I think that our investment that we made to basically be able to offer both an in-house delivery as well as a cloud offering has allowed us to bridge that gap a little bit in terms of what clients need right now, while at the same time presenting a solution that is sort of, future proof in terms of what they plan on doing in the next 3-5 years in terms of their technology spend and their infrastructure. And so I think that in terms of hopefully aligning with what their needs are right now with this regulation, with initial margining, and also proving to them that by investing in a partner like us, they're not going to need to sort of change anything down the road. It's sort of built in with some of the innovation that they will need as this market develops in the next again 3, 5, 7 years, I'd say.
Okay, you spoke off the top about these interesting times. What else is on the horizon for the new solutions or strategies by Calypso, and what are your plans given these circumstances we're
I think I'll talk specifically about Asia. I think more specifically, I think Asia, as I'm sure you're aware, being out here, very fragmented market still. Each country, each region does things a little bit differently. They're at a bit of a different stage of their development, and so I still think that the accessibility of technology in some of these markets, whether it be Southeast Asia or China or other parts of the region, still very much in different areas. And so one thing that we'd like to do is really get our product, which is very much a globally capable, well-renowned platform, more accessible to those regional players in those markets. And one of the ways we're maybe going to do that is to basically start to work more and more closely with some of the partners we have in those regions to potentially distribute our product to some of those players that they work with on a day in and day out basis. And I think given the current situation where not everyone's able to travel to those areas and not everyone's able to be as present in those areas, I think having key partners in those specific areas might be helpful to customers to be able to access, again, global technology providers like us at Calypso. And so that might be one strategy. I think that you're also seeing, a number of these areas in the regions that perhaps their requirements aren't quite as stringent as maybe some of these big global tier 1 and tier 2 banks and institutional players. And so one of the things we're trying to do to get more accessible is to provide our sort of, again, full front to back platform in a simpler, more scalable manner, that perhaps maybe they don't need all the bells and whistles on day one, but they want to make sure that they can scale with the product, over the next 10 years. And by able to, for us to be able to basically modularize that offering for them and simplify it on day one so that they can still invest in our platform and make it affordable, while at the same time giving them comfort that they're investing in something that really will work for them for the long term, I think will hopefully be a worthwhile strategy for us here in the region. I think, again, it's going to be interesting times. I think it's a unique period of time, but I think that luckily for us, being such a major part of the sort of capital markets environment, I think that it's actually going to prove that you actually do need even more investment in this type of technology, and hopefully we can take advantage of that and really offer our customers a worthwhile solution.
Terrific, RG. Thanks so much for joining us today, and congratulations to you and your team at Calypso once again on the big win.
Thanks again for having us. It's been a pleasure.
I'm joined now by Sophie Marnier-Foy, Product Management Director, Calypso, the big winners of the initial Margining Product of the Year award. Sophie, first of all, congratulations to you and your team at Calypso, and thanks so much for taking time today to respond to a few questions.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting us, and I would like to thank the team because it's a teamwork that led us to this award, and also thank our clients because it's thanks to the partnership with them and to their trust that we are where we are today. So thank you all.
Well, terrific. I'm going to get right to it, Sophie. Here we go. What does Calypso bring to the table as the winner of the initial Margining Product of the Year? And what is the innovation that makes you a pioneer this year?
So interestingly, Calypso has been providing margin solution for the past 10 years, right? We started in the aftermath of the 2008 crisis, offering margin solutions in the clearing space. And then we've evolved, continuing with our CCP and clearing solution, but then adding to our margin solution compliance to UMR. So 2020 was a key year for us for a few reasons. One of them was that as the market was moving tremendously, there was a need to use more and more the margin solution, and the solution was there. But on top of that, we've also released to the market some key and unique features. One of them, for example, is related to the UMR market, where we always provide a solution that will help firms go beyond compliance towards profitability optimization, right? So this year, what we provided is a what-if tool, a simulation tool for initial margin that is including the UMR threshold, which is one of the key concepts for that new wave of banks and firms that will have to comply with the uncleared margin rule, so UMR, in September 2021. So it's just an example, but that's how we are staying on top of the market, always trying to provide that additional what-if optimization way of staying profitable despite all those new regulations affecting the financial world.
Okay, thanks for that. Now, what would you say are the biggest challenges your clients have to overcome?
So I would say the biggest challenge is being able to organize and identify all the challenges, because there are so many, right? And one thing we actually do with our clients, we try to organize those challenges by groups. And then once they are grouped together, try to work on actions to remediate to those challenges. So I would say looking at those past 9, 12 months, what are the biggest challenges? Clearly the market conditions and the working conditions, unique, unprecedented. So they had to deal with that. That's one. Two, there is the regulation. Regulation keeps changing. So margin for clear trades, margin for ETD business, margin for unclear trades, they need to adjust to that. And there are actually additional regulation around capital cost, which means that it's very challenging to stay compliant, to adjust to the regulatory world, and keep profit in the business. So I would say those are two of the main big group of challenges that our clients are dealing with.
Okay, well, thanks for that too. And these are challenging times, or turbulent times, you might say. What are your predictions in terms of how your clients should pivot their businesses to deal with this reality?
So there are a few things they will have to do. One of the current challenges is that there is a much higher risk of counterparty, because we are starting to enter a recession. So there will be default, and they need to be very careful. So clearly managing not just risk, but counterparty risk, right? So that's one thing they will have to do. And then the other thing that's happening is that there is a lot of unpredictable. So what they need to do is continue to use those platforms and those vendor solutions that are designed for the unknown. Because even if we work together as teams, and we do that a lot with our clients, we just don't know what will happen tomorrow, next month, and in 6 months. So that's really the best advice I would give them, is be ready for the unpredictable and the unknown.
Yeah, it sounds like good advice. How does Calypso develop its winning strategies?
So for us, winning is making sure our clients can run their business, can keep their costs low, the running cost, the implementation cost, and all those new charges and margin we are talking about, right? So how do we achieve that success, which is our client success? We work with our clients as partners. So we talk to them, we do webinars together, we organize user groups, we get fed by their input so that we can then build the product they would need. So that's how we succeed, and that's how we bring to the market very quickly what our clients will need, ideally even before they know they need it, right? That's the winning strategy.
What's on the horizon for, in terms of new solutions or strategies? What are your plans in light of these times we're living in?
So in terms of new strategies, it's always organized more or less the same way. So the first level is, what do we add to the product? So the product will continue to evolve in terms of the features we offer. So additional optimization, what if, compliance with a higher volume of collateral movement, a higher volume of market changes, right? So that's one dimension, making the product more adjustable and more designed to optimize the cost. Then you have how our clients can implement the solution. So there is going to be more packaging. Calypso is offering a bank in the box, which is a packaged way of deploying the solution. A cloud hosted solution, again, because it's a very nice way for clients to reduce the cost right? So those are the dimensions we are going to work on moving forward.
Sophie Marnier-Foy, thanks so much for joining us today, and congratulations again to you and your team at Calypso on the big win.
Thank you very much for your consideration. Thank you.